Good afternoon. On the podium with me is District Attorney John DeRozier, Sergeant Fondell, Lieutenant McCullough, Detective Willie Fondo, Sergeant Nicosia. These four individuals were up for 24 hours, got up this morning, and then went to training, so shows you the dedication. On July 7th, a little after 11 o'clock p.m., we responded to the 4400 block of 5th Avenue in reference to a shooting. Upon arrival, we determined that the victim, or the person that was shot, was already taken to Lake Charles Memorial by private means. When we arrived at Lake Charles Memorial, the victim succumbed to his injuries in the emergency room. As a result, we began an investigation, determined that there was a drug deal that took place in the parking lot. During the course of the drug deal over marijuana, Mr. Ross wore a mask and tried to rob the individual selling the marijuana, tried to rip him off. At that point in time, shots were fired, and Mr. Ross went down and was taken to Memorial, where he later died. Investigation determined that who was involved in this. Many witnesses were interviewed, and as a result, we obtained a first-degree murder warrant on an individual by the name of Joey Duran Whitted, W-H-I-T-T-E-D. He's 35 years old. $1 million bond was set by Judge Wyatt. As a result of this warrant, our SWAT team was called in. Through investigation, we were able to determine that Mr. Whitted had possibly fled to the Baton Rouge area. I dispatched SWAT team members to Baton Rouge. They hooked up with a fugitive task force over there consisting of State Police and Baton Rouge PD. We were able to locate Mr. Whitted, and he was arrested yesterday, Sunday, about 5:23 p.m., was booked, and then brought back to Lake Charles, arrived about 9:20 a.m. Several more interviews were conducted, and then the investigators left about 12:30 this morning. So basically, in a 24-hour span, we identified the subject, tracked him down in Baton Rouge, and brought him back. One of the main reasons I wanted to hold this press conference is to simply say this is over a small amount of marijuana. As you say, marijuana is nothing. Well, let me tell you, it's still an illegal narcotic, and this is what I've learned. So a lesson to you drug dealers out there, and the future wannabe drug dealers out there. I've learned in 47 years, either one of several things happen. You're either in jail, about to go to jail, on probation, parole, or dead. I don't know any retired drug dealers. That's your future. Over a small amount of marijuana, you want to try to rip it off? You're 19 years old, wear a mask, you're now dead. Marijuana. Well, marijuana. You've got the Ross family destroyed, the Whitted family destroyed, over a small amount of marijuana. I don't get it. I guess I'll never get it. But it's a shame. It's a shame that this thing has to happen. 19 years old, dead. I don't get it. Mr. DeRozier now will talk about what the first-degree murder charge means. Mr. DeRozier.
To those who would suggest that a small amount of marijuana is not really bad, not really very dangerous, I want to echo the words of Chief Dixon. As a result of marijuana and the utilization of it and the purchase and sale of it, a very small amount of it, by the way, an individual in one family is now deceased. I bet his family does not think it's a small deal. The family of the defendant in this case, this defendant is now looking at the potential of capital punishment as a result of the purchase and sale of a small amount of marijuana. Where's the future in that? Like Chief Dixon, I got to say this. The only drug dealers, there are no old, rich drug dealers. They're all in prison or dead. As the chief said, none of them are retired, none of them are wealthy, and none of them are around anymore. And this is what everybody has to look forward to that deals in that business. Like the chief, I don't get it. When are we going to learn a lesson as a society that it can be dangerous and it does take lives. It is very significant to this community that we eradicate the purchase and sale of drugs.
No matter what the drug is, if you combine drugs, money, and guns, bad things are going to happen. It's a dirty game. It truly is. And for those parents out there, if you have a suspicion that you have a son or daughter involved in it, do something proactive. Do something proactive. It's an opinion investigation. If you have a question, I may or may not answer it.
The person who was shot, what's his first name? I didn't catch that.
Last name's Ross, first name Carlos.
Okay.
Carlos Ross Jr.
And he's 19, you said?
He's 19.
From Lake Charles?
Pardon me?
He's from Lake Charles.
He's from Lake Charles.
Okay.
They both are. Yes, sir.
It was initially being reported that he was a resident of the apartment complex. However, the apartment complex office confirmed to me that he did not live there, nor did the others. Is there any...
I believe that Mr. Ross lived in that apartment complex.
Yes, he did. Okay.
Mr. Whitty did not. All right, have a nice day.